In this module, we're going to add finishing touches to complete our hospital scene. Let's look at what we've done so far. In part 1, we created the project and imported the raw footage. We used scene detection to create subclips from one big clip. We renamed and organized our subclips into bins. Then, we created a select sequence, dividing the different takes into OK, good, and gold tracks in the timeline. In part 2, we used a pancake timeline technique to take the best takes from the select sequence and added them to our first rough cut in chronological order. Then we added new audio tracks for music and sound effects, renaming each track. In the fine cut, we added music to the sequence, focusing first on creating an opening montage. In the dialogue scene, we removed duplicate lines. We used our ripple edit tool to expand time on the close-ups, creating dramatic pauses for our characters. We added sound effects to create a more cinematic soundscape, adding crossfades on each sound element to smooth transitions. Then we assigned each audio track to the proper sound type in the Essential Sound panel, auto-matching each clip to create a basic sound mix. Now it's time to finish our product. We'll start by duplicating the fine cut sequence, renaming it, and opening it into the timeline. We'll fix any awkward edits or timing problems in the scene. We'll complete a final sound mix. We'll color correct each shot. And finally, we'll add graphics and end credits for the scene. So let's get started. Okay, we've got our fine cut complete. Let's go ahead and duplicate it, highlight it, come up to Edit, Duplicate, and let's rename it. This time, let's name it Your Last Name _ Final Cut Hospital Scene. Let's double click on it and load it into the sequence. Let's go ahead and close out our fine cut. And now let's take a look at it from the beginning and see if there's anything that jumps out at us as awkward or something we need to fix. And so in my version, I did find something kind of awkward here. I've got this shot where I had the doctor coming in, he starts closing the blinds, and I needed a shot between him closing the blinds and his close-ups. So I just grabbed a shot of Janet just sitting in her hospital bed there. And I think it looks kind of weird. She's almost looking at the camera, not quite, but I think I could find a better piece there. And I ended up having to go back to the original stuff here. So I went pretty close to where all that happened, and I found something. Let's see. Right after that, where she's, we see the, we're starting to see a little bit of the light stand back here. So see if we can reframe that. All right, let's see if we can find. All right, maybe somewhere around here we'll find something. Before they shake the camera, after. Okay, she looks interested. You see that little look in her eye there? She's interested. Oh, she nodded. Not liking that. Not liking that. Maybe just before that. Let me see if there's something else back here. Yeah, that was awkward there. Maybe before that shake there. No, there's too much out of focus there. That's not going to fit that gap I need there. Just before she nods, maybe. And before we start this dolly move, so I'm going to get rid of my in point there and just leave that out point. And let's try that in this area here. I've got my in and out points already set over here. Oh, it looks like I added her audio as well. We'll take care of that in a second. Okay, yeah, there's a little, the results of your test is what we're starting to hear the doctor's first line here. So what I'm going to do is right click on that, unlink it, and just get rid of that. We're just using some of that there. All right. So I think that needs a little fade at the beginning of the, that's the rustling of the curtain there. All right, I think that actually fixes it. Let's watch it one more time.
Oh, here comes the doctor.
The results of your test came back, and I have some bad news.
Okay, so I think that fixes the awkward edit portion of this. You may have one or two in there that you need to fix as well. So now it's time to complete our final audio mix here. So let's go up to the audio workspace. And if you did what you were supposed to in the fine cut, you've already gone through here, and with each clip you have already given them the proper sound type and have done the things that you're supposed to do over here in the essential sound panel, where we did our loudness, auto match, all that sort of thing. That'll give you kind of a baseline. And maybe you went in and adjusted a few things here and there. But now let's go ahead and we'll use our track mixer and our clip mixer to kind of tweak different levels. Now, I listen to this over the headphones, but sometimes headphones aren't the best measure of how it sounds. You might want to plug in your computer speakers or watch it on some other device just to see if you can hear the background noises and if they're too loud or too quiet, especially the music. We don't want our music competing with our dialogue at all, for sure. So let's take a look at what we've got so far and listen closely. Okay, I think the music kind of needs some adjusting there because I was getting towards the end of the song. The volume of it went up, so I'm just going to click on that. Let's look at our, I can actually use the audio clip mixer on that piece of music. That's on music 1. So I'd come over to music 1 here and oh yeah, let's bring that music 1 down some just to see if we can match it up with the rest of the music. Oh, that's a little too low. Maybe bring it up just a hair. That's better. I like that. All right, let's see what we got here.
So, until the machine gets fixed, I'll probably...
All right, we got Bob talking. He talks kind of loud here.
So, until the machine gets fixed, I'll probably be having to do double shifts for...
Okay, and now we're hearing a little bit of the ambience and those sorts of things. I have on Sound Effects 3, I actually have this ambient thing here. Let's just solo it and see what we're listening to here. All right, this is actually room tone. So maybe I assigned the wrong audio type. I put it under sound effects. So actually it's ambience. So I need to clear that audio type and reassign that as ambience. Okay, and let's see, it's inside ambience. We'll just say room ambience. A little reverb might help a little bit. And let's see what this sounds like now. Kind of quiet. I think I might need to adjust the sound volume on that. Just on this clip though, so I would use the clip mixer on this, and we are on SFX 3, so I need to bring this way up. Let's see what it sounds like now. Huh. Something weird happened when I added that reverb effect, maybe. There it is. Let's bring those levels up some more. All right, so they're just kind of down here in the -40 range. Let's see what it sounds like with dialogue, so we're not overpowering anything.
So, until the machine gets fixed, I'll probably be having to do double shifts for the foreseeable future.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the doctor.
The results of your test came back, and I have some bad news.
No, I think it actually worked there. So I need to assign it to the proper audio type for sure. And that shows you what to do if you accidentally assigned it to the wrong type there. Okay, and let's listen to this dialogue here a little bit. Now this I have under Doctor, but let's look at this audio type. It is just noise. It's the curtain being pulled apart. And of course, because it was on Doctor's track, it got selected as dialogue. It is not dialogue. So let's clear that and just call that sound effects. Now let's hear it.
About that, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the doctor.
All right. Now there was some other part of that.
The results of your
Okay. Yep. This is part of that as well from this master shot right here.
Comes the doctor.
Ah, I see. That was accidentally put on Bob's track there. Actually, I should probably just grab this track. Whoops. I should probably move this track by holding down my Option key and putting it down on the sound effects track there. Now notice I made a hole when I pushed it through there, and I think I can fix that. Just drag that across there. There we go. Oops. Nope, now I'm messing with my video. Let me go ahead and use my Option key, stretch that audio over there.
the results of your
Okay, starting to get it right now.
About that, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the doctor.
Here comes the doctor, and then Bob has this little, kind of awkward kind of thing, but I don't know. I think I might use my Option key and take out Bob's little thing there.
Here comes the doctor.
Yeah, some lip smacking. That's what these little indicators are there. And of course, I need to do a crossfade on that. Let me come to my effects and put an exponential fade there at the end. maybe 15 frames. Whoops, not even that much, maybe 5 frames.
Oh, here comes the doctor.
Ah, now we've got that coming in there.
The results of your test came back, and I have some bad news.
What is it?
I'm afraid you have a bronchial carcinoma.
What's that?
What is that?
Oh, Janet's last word got kind of cut off here. What is that? Let's listen to that, just this part here. So let's go ahead and we'll expand Janet's track here a little bit. And let's scroll up so we can see. I think I want to solo this for a second.
What's that?
What is that?
Ah, he was stepping on her line.
What's that?
What is that?
Ah, okay. Hold down my Option key, come that back a little bit there. And let's put a crossfade there to see if we can fix that. Maybe 3 frames.
What's that?
What is that?
That's better. Okay.
What's that?
What is that?
It's lung cancer, and I can make you some referrals to an oncologist to discuss some treatment options.
No. No, that's not possible. I came in for a cough I've had for a couple of weeks.
I am sorry.
I can't do double shifts with you.
Let's listen to the doctor leaving here again.
I am sorry.
I can't do double shifts with you like this. I mean, work is stressful enough as it is, and how are the kids gonna react?
You don't deserve this.
All right, and I brought in some ambient of car noise when the aerial appeared, and I did a little bit of a J cut here to bring in the sound of the exterior just before. Maybe expand that a little more. Maybe make that longer. Let's see. Maybe a 2-second fade there. All right. So go in and make your final adjustments on your audio mix and listen to it on a couple of different devices. Now it's time to do a color correction on this show here. I know we haven't spent too much time talking about it, but I'll walk you through the basics. So let's switch our workspace to color. Okay, let's go back to the beginning here. And you'll notice a lot of this stuff is already got a little bit of color, but you'll see, especially in the dialogue scene, a lot of this is kind of faded, looks kind of weird. I think it's because this was shot in log gamma. So log gamma kind of takes the saturation out so that you can fix it in post. So that's what we're going to kind of do here. So let's take a look right at the beginning and just start from there. So where we can kind of start, we'll just do the basics on this. We got to color correct each shot. So let's take a look. This one, it's okay. It kind of looks greenish to me. But let's take a look. If we come up to the Basic Correction tab in the Lumetri Color panel here. Make sure that it is turned on. And we're going to go ahead and come down to this Auto button. Now this is not the magic wand that it appears to be there. it does okay, but we may be able to tweak it from there. So let's take a look. All right, well, it brightened it up a little bit. I like that. And it kind of got rid of the little bit of the green cast it had. I think it still needs a bit more blue. Let's just, because we're outdoors here. So I can actually just pull that color temperature over just a little bit there. To me, that looks more natural. Okay, so let's see, that takes care of, I've got two opening shots here. I let one go right into the next one. And I want this one to look like that one. What can I do? Well, I can actually copy the effect. So with this clip highlighted here, I can come up to the Effect Controls tab. Now you might have it like this. Come over to the Effect Controls tab and make sure that you're on the clip that you want to work with. And if you'll notice, it has the basics of, position, if you were moving stuff around. But we're going to come down to where it says Lumetri Color. And let's highlight right there. We can look at a before and after right there. I like the after, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And on my keyboard, I'm going to copy it by going Command C or Control C if you're on a PC. Then I'm going to come over to the next clip there, and I'm going to type Command V as in Victor. Okay, so I've copied this one to that one. All right, let's go inside here. All right, see what the auto does on this. It brightened it up. That's not bad there. Let's take a look at the contrast, though. I think it still looks a little flat contrast-wise, so I might go in and tweak that a little bit. And I think it needs a little more saturation, which is a common thing that happens with stuff that was shot in log gamma. It needs a little bit of a boost on that saturation just to bring those colors out a little bit. Don't go too far with this or you'll get something that just looks weird. So I'm going to come back a little bit. Something about like that. That's not bad. Now, this is all in the same room. So to get them to kind of match up, I might go ahead and do that copy thing we did with the last one. I'll copy this one. And let's apply it to this one and see if it works. Oh, that's not bad. That kind of matches up. Let's go over to this pump here. And let's just paste that one in as well. Yeah, that's actually working. I kind of like that. This one. Yeah. Yeah, this one kind of matches this first kind of feel there. I kind of like that. This one, however, it looks like it was shot with a different camera altogether. This was not shot in log gamma. That one's kind of weird. Maybe I'll take some of the saturation out of that just a little bit. See if I can make it match that. Actually, I think that's pretty close. I think that was the problem. This just had more saturation than the other shots around it. All right, this is pretty much the same area as this right here. So we can go ahead and just paste that over this one as well. I think, yeah, that brings up the brightness of the X-rays. And we'll paste that. And right in there as well. So you can see it. If you want to look at a before and after, you can use this toggle bypass on or off up here in the Lumetri color panel. We can look at before and after. You can see it makes a huge difference there. Now this one is just hugely bright. So if I paste the thing we've been working on, it actually makes it too bright. So we need to bring that exposure down on that. Just a hair. Don't know. This is... Okay, now we're in Janet's room. Now these, again, we're looking at, let's see what auto does on this. We'll just hit auto. Okay, it brought exposure up a little bit. I still think it looks a little, their skin tones look a little weird. So let's see what we can do with this one. I need to find something white. I think her bed sheet might be white. Let's see what happens. We'll take this white balance and let's see what happens if we turn that there. Doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Let's add some saturation to begin with and see if that might help our issue a little bit. That brings up the skin tones a little bit. That's a little better. I still think everybody looks a little kind of green now. Let's see if we can adjust that just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way with these sliders, so be very careful with these. If you go too far, everybody turns magenta. We don't want anybody being green, so we'll kind of find a happy medium in there. Let's look at our contrast, maybe adjust that a little bit. I think the exposure could come up just a hair, just to give us a little starting point there. So we don't want to overexpose, but right in there, I think. So let's look at a before and after. Oof, huge difference there. Okay. So that gives us a kind of a baseline there. So let me go ahead and over here in the Effect Controls panel, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it to the next couple of shots here. Now, let's see what happens when we put it in the hallway. All right. That hallway is already kind of bright, so we might have to tweak that just a little bit, bring that exposure down. Not too much. All right, now the doctor's in the same room as them, so he should have the same kind of lighting. So we'll go ahead and paste. There we go.
Here's the doctor.
Much better. There's that master shot that we came into and we stayed out of pretty much throughout. I want to talk a little bit about this because I think a lot of folks, they reached for that master shot and they just let it play. And you'll notice in the master shot, let's do over here, let's just play it.
The results of your test came back, and I have some bad news.
What is it?
I'm afraid you have a bronchial carcinoma.
What's
that?
See how they just rush through that dialogue? That's just not good for what we're trying to do here. And remember, a wide shot is comedy, a close-up is drama. So get out of this wide shot and get into your close-ups. I think that's your best bet there. All right, so let's get back to color correcting here. And I'm going to paste that into that there. Now let's come back to Janet here. Paste her in there. That gave her a nice coloring there, I think. So she looks a lot better. So there's like a before and after on it. Color correction can really help. It looks like a different show now, doesn't it? Now let's do the same on the doctor. Just pasting them in. We're kind of just matching these shots very quickly. So we're doing a kind of back and forth. Really making short work of all this. Now that we've found a color correction that we liked. All right. And our last shot was this outdoor shot, which looks a little green to me. So I'm going to use my auto. Nah, it didn't seem to do anything. See if I can change the white balance. Find something white in the shot. There. That looks a little bluer. I might even tweak it a little more there. I don't know. Okay, so that's your baseline for color correction. And if you just did that, everything's going to look great. So I would live with that. However, maybe I want to take it one step further. Let me show you something. So what I'm going to do is over here in the project panel, we have this new item button here. If I click on that and hold, you'll see there's a couple of things in there. I'm going to choose adjustment layer. And it's going to take the dimensions of our sequence and create just kind of a blank thing there. So there's our adjustment layer. And there's nothing in it. If you double click on it, there's nothing there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new video track up here. I'm going to put that adjustment layer over the top of all this stuff, just so you can see how this works. And I stretched it over the complete scene there. So now we can actually add a second color correction to this. Let's come down to we'll close basic color correction and open the creative area here. Now in creative, we have these looks that come with it. These are kind of pre-built sorts of things that we can use. There's, you can go to some real extremes with this, so be very careful with this. I can say blue moon, and that's not bad. That gives it kind of that medical show blue in the shadows there. You notice it kind of took the dark areas and turned those blue as well. So that might be a kind of an interesting look to go with, And you don't have to accept the default intensity of it. I can bring that back a little bit. So that's like what it looks like without it, and adding a little bit more of that. Just maybe bring it up to like 80% of that. I like that. That's just my personal take on that. You could try some different things. Maybe you like gold tobacco. You want a warmer look to it, or something like that. But I kind of like that that last thing we had. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the blue there. Blue moon, I think it was there. There's also like blue steel. No, that's kind of contrasty. I don't know. It looks a little intense. Kind of like blue moon. There. All right. So that's something you can do to kind of preview and look at different looks for how you want the scene to look there. So, but it kind of changed the look of our our montage there, so maybe I'll actually choose something different for that montage. I'll split this adjustment layer right there into transition. I'll use my razor blade tool. And let's look at this adjustment layer here. Maybe I don't want it at all. I'll just go ahead and see what it looks like without it. I think I'm going to go without it on this opening scene. You know, before, I don't know. Maybe I need to adjust the intensity of it. Maybe bring up the intensity a little bit. All right, yeah, that's a little better. I think I like that. So this is just something that you can do to make all of your future projects look a little better. Go ahead and use that color correction on every single shot, and I think you're going to find it really improves the look of your product. Okay, now let's add some graphics to this. So let's switch our workspace over to Captions and Graphics. All right. Now, I don't want to put my graphics below these adjustments layers because I don't want the color correction to affect the graphics. So I'm going to create a new video layer, a new track. So right click on V4 and add another track. And up there, that's where we're going to put, on V5 is where we're going to put all our graphics now. All right. So, got to give this thing a name. Let's make sure we keep it within the safe broadcast zone. Use our safe margins button here. And if you don't have that, you can find that under your button editor there. Go up here and you'll find safe margins. Drag it down into your tools and say OK. But we'll try to keep all that within this inside square there, the safe title zone. So I'm going to give this project a name. So let's go ahead and we'll use our type tool, and I'll just type something right now. Call it, I don't know, something to start with there. All right. All right, so let's take a look here. So this opens up our essential graphics panel here. And let's take a look. I'm going to edit that. I don't like that font necessarily. Let's find something a little bolder, that works for us. And you can choose any font you like. But I'm going to go with something about like that. I don't know, maybe I'll give it some, there we go, Pellissippi Medical, using the small caps with that. And let's see, let's try bold. Maybe make it a little larger. Maybe I'll put it on 2 lines. And I'll center it. And you can always use this align and transform to center it exactly in the frame, just like that. All right, so that doesn't really look like much there. Let's make that a little bigger. And again, we'll center it up. All right, let's give this thing some colors, or at least something there. So under stroke, I'll turn the stroke on. Let's give it something that will stand out, maybe some yellow around the edges. Let's see if I made that bigger. Let's see if that helps. Ugh, not liking that. Not liking the, let's go with blue. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's a little easier to read. All right. So, we don't necessarily want this to just pop on like that, do we? Maybe we'll fade it in. And I don't want it beyond that second shot there. Just picture we're coming out of a commercial, there we're starting the show maybe. Maybe this is the first scene of a medical drama. Also, I don't like the space between these. I can adjust lots of things here. So I can really bring that in a little closer like that. There we go. Something like that. Pellissippi Medical. And maybe I'll just fade it in. Just keep it simple to begin with. So let me go to my effects area here. In video transitions, I'll dissolve it in. Crossfade. And crossfade it out. But I don't need it to be a whole second long, maybe just 15 frames. And 15 frames at the beginning as well. All right, I want it to fade out. It looked like it was not quite done fading out there, so I want it to fade out before the next shot comes in. There we go. All right, now, to keep it from looking so much like this is a video graphic, maybe I'll adjust the opacity of this a little bit. You'll see that right here under Edit, right there. This is the opacity area here. So if I just pull that back just a little bit, you can start seeing stuff between it, behind it there. Just a little bit. That makes it look a little bit more organic to the shot. So I want to take this same title here and bring it down to the end here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this thing, Command C, and maybe bring it in right there, Command V. All right, but I don't want to fade out that quickly. Maybe bring it right there. Okay, now I'm ready to start my end credits for this. I'm going to need a new piece of music though, I think. I've only got 2 music tracks here, so let me go ahead and add another one by right-clicking. Add track, and now it'll be down there at the bottom, A9 there. I'll stretch that out so we can rename that Music 3. All right. Now I needed to find something fairly short, so I found this. It kind of matches some stuff we've used earlier in here. I don't want this to be very long, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on track 9 down there just to start with, just to give us a baseline. So there it is, and I know it's too loud, so first thing I need to do is let's go back to our audio workspace briefly here, and let's scroll down here. I'll click on that. It's music, loudness. I'm going to auto match that, bring those levels down. Now let's just hear it. Good, that'll work right there. Now we need to create our end credits. So let's take a look here. Now our music's way too long. It's like 30 seconds long. So I only want it like half that, maybe 15 seconds. So I'm going to make sure I'm not on any clip here. I'm going to go to the beginning of this, use my up arrow key there. let's see. And I'm just going to type in on my numeric keyboard plus 1500 for 15 seconds. Oh, make sure I'm not on a clip. Plus 1500. There it goes. All right. Otherwise, it will move your clip. All right. So I want to remix that to around that area there. So let's go to my, let's see, under the ripple edit tool, if you come down to remix, there's our remix tool. I'm going to go ahead and grab the end of this, bring it way back, maybe even a little bit further. There it goes. And it has made some new edits for us. Let's listen to it, make sure it works for us. Now let's add a credit roll. Let's switch to captions and graphics and take a look back here. Now I sent you these credits here as a PDF file that was in the download, the initial download you had there. So all I'm going to do is just go through here and just copy all of those. Command C. And back in Premiere, I'm going to create a new title here. I'll use my text title tool there, and I'll just Command V that right there. Now you may have some issues where they're all bunched up or there's some problems there. Remember, we want to change our leading. We'll change our leading to 0 because we had actually changed it. I went in and changed it on this one here, and that kind of screwed up this next piece here because it always kind of defaults to the last thing you did using the same style. So we're going to just use 0 as our leading on that. And notice now we've kind of lost everything. Let's go back to edit this thing. You can change the size right here. I want to make sure that it's all within this safe title zone here. And I don't know, it's looking okay here. Editor, place your name here. So I'm going to go ahead and change that right now to Buck Kaler. There we go. And I want this thing to roll, but I don't see anything in here that tells me how to do that. This is kind of a tricky thing, and I'm going to show you how you get to that. You got to kind of get out of this area here. So let's click off that. Once you click off the title, you get the roll option here. And now you've got this roll going. So let me take a look here at what's going on. I want to make sure that it matches the length of my music. So kind of scroll down and let's snap it to the length of the music. There we go. Now it's going to play at the proper length there. But you notice there's some issues in here as we see it. It's got the director and a cinematographer on the same line. I need to fix that. So I'll come just before the C there, hit delete on my keyboard, and then return. That'll put that person on their correct line. Let's make sure there's nothing else like that going on. Cameras, props, shot locations, and a study. This one needs to be on its own line, I think, as well as this last thing here. Okay, so that concludes our editing of the hospital scene. We went in, we fixed any awkward edits, we did a final sound mix, we color corrected, and we added this final credit roll here at the end. So go ahead and save where you're at, and be sure that you turn this in to the proper assignment area in Brightspace.